It'll be 1st and 10 from the 17 for the Houston Oilers. Morosky at quarterback again for Houston. Here's the reverse. Tasker takes it up shy of the 30-yard line, and an Oiler first down.
And Hugh Campbell said, hey, I've got some little fellas, Tasker, IQ, and Drewy, who are exciting, dazzling runners. And that's what he's trying to do right now. He's trying to put a player like Tasker, who has that great speed, in the open field so that he might break one. Hugh Campbell?
I was going to say Hugh Campbell has had a sort of a nightmare game. Everything's happened to him. Well, I think the ruling on the unnecessary roughness was, Reggie, that a forearm is one thing, but a shot to the chops is another. And that was the way the ruling went, the unnecessary roughness against the man that had the football.
This game's getting too soft for me.
Morosky scrambles away from trouble and completes it to Moriarty, who takes it to about the 37-yard line, short of the first down.
Well, I'll tell you what, on the play in which Avon Riley intercepted that ball and then used his forearm, how many times have we seen Walter Payton use that same maneuver over the course of his career?
Moriarty got 8 yards on that reception. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the 38-yard line. Morosky directs a little traffic in his backfield, comes out of the eye to the split-back formation. Handoff running straight ahead. Rozier close to the first down.
One of the other reasons that they may have called that penalty was they may feel that this game is getting a little out of control here, and they want to regain control from an officiating standpoint. Once again, all right, we're going to see Riley with the ball, and he will use his forearm. Now they're saying that his arm must be extended in order to ward off the tackler, but Walter Payton has done this so many times it's become standard issue.
I think the problem was that it was to the face and not to the body, and maybe that was the ruling, but in any event, it was against the Oilers, and not a very popular call with the Houston contingent. By inches, Rozier gets the first down, keeping the Oiler drive intact. The Rams remain unbeaten. They outlast the Vikings at the Coliseum, 13-10. Not at the Coliseum, but at Anaheim Stadium, 13-10 final score. The Rams 5-0, and a bit of a surprise. First down, Oilers. Morosky retreats. Almost intercepted. Knocked away at the last minute. It looked like Louis Wright might have had one. If he'd have caught it, he'd have been gone to the end zone.
Somebody had better tell Mike Morosky, you don't go lobbing balls into the area of Louis Wright. He will pick it off and run for a touchdown, and he has done it a number of times throughout the course of his career. Tom, remember when Houston had the ball and they settled for the three-pointer rather than the touchdown? Think of what might happen now if they should go on and score here. Boy, we really have a tight ball game.
31-13 the count, 11:53 on the clock, fourth quarter. Broncos have never trailed. They show blitz, they back out of it. Roscoe's got a man wide open. It's Woolfolk. Remember, he had a great run earlier for a touchdown. This time he has a nifty little run as well to get a first down for the Oilers.
There is absolutely no quit in Butch Woolfolk. He is really showing something out here today. He takes this ball underneath the coverage. The linebackers for Denver have dropped back deep. Now watch Woolfolk, number 40, take the ball and just physically force his way to the first down. He isn't running from anything. Puts his head down there and just dives for a first down.
Woolfolk's play has been outstanding for Houston today. First down at the 49 for the Oilers. Morosky out of the pocket, scrambles. Got a couple of yards before he was pulled down by Roland Jones from behind. Morosky gets a welcome to Mile High Stadium. Tore his shoulder pad loose.
I think Morosky is giving them a measure of excitement, and he's really motivated this ball club since he's been in the football game. He's very mobile. He doesn't have the kind of arm, of course, that Warren Moon has, but he is giving them something now that they didn't have, and that's an opportunity to feel as if they can win the football game.
Steve Tasker into the game for Houston, the 5'9", 185-pound rookie from Northwestern. Morosky's pass wobbles. Almost intercepted. It'll go incomplete. Dennis Smith who is in the Denver secondary now, though playing injured, had a chance at it, couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, that was an end-over-end pass.
Like one of mine. Warren Moon cooling his heels on the sideline. Got a little banged up today and didn't have much success. So Hugh Campbell has gone with Mike Morosky here in the latter stages of the game, with the Oilers trailing 31-13, 4 of 7 for Morosky, but only 38 yards.
Now the Broncos had been blitzing in this situation when Warren Moon was in the ball game. Let's see what happens this time.
Another rookie wide receiver is in. Mike Aku out of Hawaii in a slot to the left.
Here they come.
Blitz. Morosky wobbles it complete to Tasker. Fights his way for yardage and a first down to the Bronco 35.
Now I want to tell you something. They hadn't done that in so long that the Broncos kept saying, we're going to give it to you, give it to you, give it to you until you do something with it. Now, it wasn't the most artistic looking play, but what Morosky does is he gets the ball off before the blitz gets to him. Tasker makes a fine play and picks up a first down.
Spot the ball at the 34 of the Broncos. First and 10 for Houston. Inside the 10-minute mark, fourth quarter. Broncos lead 31-13. Give Moriarty. Fights his way for yardage, carrying orange shirts with him. The Orange Crush defense hanging on for dear life that time as Moriarty plowed down for a gain of about 5 or 6 yards on the play. Here's the way the scoring has gone by quarters. And again, that first quarter deficit has haunted Houston all season long. 54-0. First quarter in 5 games this year for the Oilers. And now scored 54-0. Morosky gives to Moriarty again. Met head on. Bounces off. Second effort. First down Oilers.
Tom, do you detect a sudden change in the entire attitude of the Oilers team?
Well, they haven't quit, that's for sure. Meanwhile, it looked like Denver was sort of taking things a little easy. Warren Moon watches from the sideline. Here's the replay.
I sense an almost eerie change in the momentum involved in this football game. Moriarty, 240 pounds, hits in there, nothing doing, comes out of the pack, busting straight ahead with his strength and power. First down.
They still trail, though, 31-13. 8.5 minutes. They keep it on the ground. Nothing there for Rozier. Swarmed back by the center of that Denver Bronco defense. Barney Chavis, defensive end, leads the charge.
Keep in mind, too, that the Broncos will allow the Oilers to run that football in there right now. I think that the Oilers have to put the ball up in the air.
Here's the lineup on NBC. Coming up later on NBC. Morosky will put it in the air. Incomplete, intended for Tim Smith.
It's a good setup by Morosky, a fine pass, and a pass that Tim Smith usually will catch 99 times out of 100.
Mike Harden on the coverage for the Broncos. Clock stops, 7:49, fourth quarter. Other scores, final now, the Raiders win at home. Los Angeles Coliseum against the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, those two teams playing in this AFC West. Fourth quarter score, Seattle increasing its advantage against the San Diego Chargers. Here at Mile High, the Broncos 31-13. 3rd and 9 for the Oilers from the 18 of Denver. Double wide receivers to either side. Rozier, the lone setback, gets the handoff. Good call. Good run. He takes it down to the 7-yard line and a first down. Now let's pause briefly for station identification. 31-13 the score with 7 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Mile High Stadium in Denver. Tom Hammond and Reggie Rucker, where the Broncos have led throughout the contest. Houston driving with Mike Morosky at the controls right now. Stan Edwards is the up back in the eye. Mike Rozier is the tailback. Morosky, the pass. For the end zone, touchdown. Drew Hill on the reception. Morosky put it right where only he could catch it. And the Oilers score.
I'm telling you, Tom, Denver has to do a gut check. The Oilers are all over the Broncos at this point in the football game. And it is almost an amazing twist in the fortunes of this contest.
7-yard touchdown reception for Drew Hill. His third touchdown of the season.
Now here's Morosky coming on the rollout pass, and he doesn't have the greatest arm in the world, but he's getting the job done because he is providing leadership out there. And as I said before, I think he believes that they can win this football game.
Morosky, no doubt, has given him a lift. He's taken him to a touchdown, and now the stadium, the Oilers have just scored, and the Broncos expecting an onside kick. They've got 9 men within 10 yards of the ball, and they kick it deep. Vance Johnson lets it fly through the end zone. Covers it there, and the Broncos will put it in play from their 20. And 75,000 Denver Bronco fans begin to whoop it up to try to get their Broncos to rally a little bit. Still lead 31-20, but appeared to relax a little bit on that last Houston drive, and Mike Morosky has come in and put life into the Houston offense all of a sudden.
And the Broncos seem just a bit lethargic. And I'm sure that the play of the Houston Oilers has been the cause of that. 14 plays, 83 yards. Morosky to hit.
And we'll see if Elway gets the potent Denver offense cranked up again. Keep it on the ground. About a 5-yard gain for Sammy Winder. Mike Stensrud, the nose tackle, makes the stop.
Sometimes the hardest thing to do in a football game is after you've been able to dominate offensively, and then you have that lull, then you sort of become very, very complacent. To go back and then try to get it again can be the most difficult thing in the game to do.
Winder got 4 yards on first down, 2nd and 6 for the Broncos. Clock continues to tick inside 6.5 minutes. Broncos have an 11-point lead. Sewell in motion, play action. Complete for the first down to Wright, the tight end. Patrick Allen stops Wright, but he had enough yardage for the first down, and Denver keeps the ball going. 5:57 and ticking on the clock. Fourth quarter, 31-20 the score. Broncos have never trailed.
That's a good play a good safe play to use for the Broncos, because Elway knows that Houston's up on the line of scrimmage trying to get to that ball carrier, and then he's rolling out throwing that little short pass. That's a good safe play.
Every first down the Broncos make now is another nail in the Houston coffin. They have to score twice, and now just 5.5 minutes left. Winder falls down and is covered there. Gain of about 2 on the play. John Grimsley, 6'2", 232 pounds, 2-year veteran from Kentucky. He and his wife, Virginia, had a son, I think Tuesday of last week, John Jr.
You know, Clarence Kay has just come out of the ball game. The Broncos only have 2 tight ends in this football game. This certainly might disturb the pattern that Reeves wants to utilize in the dying moments of this game.
Officials timeout on the play. That's right, 2 tight ends only for the Broncos. They waived Don Summers to make room for Tom Jackson. Timeout. We'll be back to Denver. John Grimsley a little shaken up on the last play, left the field. Already Robert Abraham and Johnny Meads, a couple of starters, left the game with injuries. Lang looks for running room and doesn't find it. Pounced on by several white-shirted Houston defenders, with Avon Riley and Briel leading the way. There's Briel, rookie out of Stanford.
The Broncos are trying to run the ball to the outside because of the cornerbacks of Houston play man-to-man, and they run off with the receiver, giving plenty of room to run on the outside. That time, Steve Brown recovered, got up quickly, and forced that play back inside.
Dean Miraldi limping to the Denver sideline. They've stuttered in to replace him. Third down, 8 yards to go for the Broncos at their own 35. They lead 31-20, 4 minutes to play. Elway will put it up, little safe swing pass, complete to Wilhite. Evades one tackle, takes it for a first down. Brian Sauché and Bo Eason stopping Wilhite, but he picked up a very valuable first down. That means the clock will continue to work against the Oilers.
Once again, a good safe call by Denver, getting the ball to Wilhite. Now, Grimsley diagnoses this play excellently, but look at the missed tackle. Missed tackles will hurt you.
Grimsley was shaken up a couple of plays ago, back in there, and couldn't nail Wilhite before the Broncos picked up that first down.
He could have stopped Wilhite at the line of scrimmage had he made that tackle.
is the lone setback behind Elway here. 1st and 10 from the 46. Motion from Watson. Lang slips shy of midfield. Gain of 2. And a timeout taken by the Houston Oilers. They stopped the clock with 3 minutes 38 seconds remaining. That's their first timeout of the second half. They'll have 2 remaining. Stop the clock here with 3:38, and the scoreboard showing the Broncos on top 31-20. All right, from Denver, we'll take a break now. That's the score. Broncos lead it. 7 play for the Broncos. The handoff to Lang up the middle. Gets a couple of more yards as John Elway peers over at Dan Reeves for the next play, and they'll keep it on the ground and let that clock tick down, approaching 3 minutes. It looks like that another timeout has been taken by the Houston Oilers, their second timeout of the half, and stops the clock with 3:27 remaining. Well, the Broncos just 3.5 minutes away from recording their 3rd win in 5 outings this season and battling in that tough AFC West. Coming up, they'll be at the Hoosier Dome to meet the Indianapolis Colts. Big winners. They scored 49 points against the Buffalo Bills today. So Broncos take their act on the road at Indianapolis next week. In 2 weeks, a key Western Division game against the Seattle Seahawks. They'll meet the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers, 2 other Western Division foes. 3 conference games coming up for them right in a row after they meet Indianapolis. And then they go from the frying pan to the fire as they meet San Francisco. Hugh Campbell on the Oilers sideline after you had a quick look at Dan Reeves and John Elway. Does Campbell have any reason for optimism after this game is going to lose for the 4th time this season? Any bright spots?
I don't know. Certainly some of the performances, some of the individual performances, as you look at the upcoming games for the Oilers, some of the individual performances I think leave him buoyed for this upcoming schedule. But on the other hand, I think he has to be concerned about the play he's getting at quarterback. They didn't pay $5 or $6 million for Warren Moon to have him relieved by Mike Morosky. And while he is very happy about the way his team has come back and the way they played, he's got to be concerned about quarterback.
2 divisional rivals coming up for the Oilers after today. They have 1 timeout left. 31-20 is the count. Denver in command with 3:27 showing on the clock. Elway got his man. Watson buried at about the 40-yard line. 1st down for the Broncos. What about Elway's performance today? He has passed 200 yards through the air for the 5th time this season. 5 for 5 in that department. We thought he started a little slowly, but he's looked good here in the latter stages of the game.
You said it right. He started slowly. The good thing for Elway is that he picked up, he matured with the game. But 200 yards passing a game isn't the standard by which a quarterback with the potential of Elway is measured, Tom. He has to start, I think, lightening it up more in the passing game.
See the scores of the other games as San Diego's come back on Seattle a little bit. The other scores all finals. Winder winds it down to about the 35-yard line. And it's just academic from here. 2:30 now on the clock. Oilers with 1 timeout left. And they're going to take it right now. Now we're going to have an official timeout for an injury. One of the Broncos a little shaken up. Is that Clarence Kay?
Looks like
it is indeed Kay. Kay, 6'2", 237, 2-year veteran from the University of Georgia. Seems to be catching the ball more now. I'm getting more into the passing game of the Broncos.
Well, we mentioned the fact that they had to release tight end Don Summers before the ball game in order to activate Tom Jackson. Left the ball club with only 2 tight ends, and they are a 2 tight end offense for the most part. So I would think that either Don Summers may be recalled or they may have to go out and get someone, because you're gambling when you have a 2 tight end offense and you only carry 2 tight ends.
Summers, 2-year veteran out of Boise State, has been waived twice this season. Now, waived him earlier in the season. They brought him back, and now for the 2nd time waived. And here they see one of their 2 tight ends go down.
Well, James Wright left the ball game earlier with an injury.
John Elway on the day, his stats, Reggie, look like this: 17 of 34, 50%, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's also had 3 interceptions.
Well, I look for bigger and better things from John Elway because he has such awesome potential. He throws the ball so accurately on the run. Defensive backs have a tendency to underestimate his range, even if they're 50 or 60 yards downfield, as we saw on the touchdown pass to Steve Watson. And the future is unlimited for John Elway.
Huddling there with Dan Reeves. Is that a good matchup? Would Reeves be a good man to play for as a young quarterback? Is he going to be the kind that will really educate and bring a guy along? You spoke earlier of Reeves' knowledge of the game, and Tom Landry allowed him special leeway. Is that a good coach for a young quarterback to come up under?
I think you have to consider the systems. For instance, this is an excellent system for Elway. Marino's system in Miami is very, very advantageous for the skills of Marino. And I think that you take the talent, you find out what kind of system you have, and hopefully you have an Elway adapt to the things that you do. And I think in this case it has worked well. I mean, they were 13-3 a year ago.
Dan Reeves is very pleased with the progress of John Elway. He said he is much better in his anticipation this season, as well as being stronger. Don't forget baseball coming up on NBC Tuesday night. It gets underway, the American League Championship Series, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. The Kansas City Royals play the Toronto Blue Jays in the opening game of the American League LCS. Battle for the pennant here on NBC Sports.
Feels like next week already.
Well, the Oilers, you'll be happy to know, just took their final timeout. They cannot stop the clock any further. 2:20 showing this is a second down play for the Broncos. And doesn't get much. Clock runs down to the 2-minute warning. Winder has been a workhorse today for the Broncos, and that's the role they want him to play. We have the 2-minute warning coming up. Timeout, 2 minutes to play, fourth quarter. Denver 31, Houston. Tom Hammond and Reggie Rucker from Mile High Stadium. Denver about to go 3-2 on the season, while Houston will fall to 1-4. 2 minutes left, 31-20 the score for the Broncos. I'd like to thank our teammates today. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. Coordinating producer of football, Ted Nathanson. Our telecast from Mile High Stadium today, produced by Peter Rolfe, directed by John Libretto. Our technical director, Lou Sawinski. John Elway has played every down for the Denver Broncos this season. And this might be a chance where Gary Kubiak might get into the game. Kubiak, the backup quarterback for the Broncos, a former Houston Oiler ball boy.
That's right. Gives Kubiak a chance to earn his letter, huh?
Kubiak taking it easy on the sidelines, number 8. Elway has certainly spread the ball around today, Reggie. 3 passes caught by Watson, 2 by Sampson, 4 by Wilhite. Vance Johnson one. Here's Elway completing another one to Sewell, who gets into the act.
Fine play by Bo Eason, stopping the receiver right there where he caught the football. This ought to be very close.
Butch Johnson has caught 2 passes. Winder has caught 1. Clarence Kay has caught 3. Wright has caught 1. A lot of people getting into the act for the Broncos today in the passing game.
What you're speaking of is diversification, Tom. Elway gets the ball to 8 or 9 different pass receivers during the course of a football game.
We asked for Kubiak, we get him. Kubiak comes into the game. We'll see action for the first time this season. 9 separate receivers have caught a pass for the Broncos this afternoon. That is excellent play. Kubiak is coming in as to hold for the extra point. We didn't get Kubiak. It's 4th down.
He'll be about 51 yards away.
Carlos, who had his consecutive field goal string broken at 13 in a row earlier today. Wobbly kick. Hit the crossbar and bounded back. No good. That's the score with a minute left to get in the game from Mile High Stadium. Denver Broncos broke on top in the first quarter 10-0 and have never trailed. Orosky to Woolfolk again. They're going to do it till the Broncos stop it.
Houston has no timeouts left. And I think what they need to do here, if they're going to throw the football, is throw it towards the goal. That's where you score.
Well, thank you. They got 38 seconds left to try to get another score.
Let it go.
Across the middle, a courageous catch. He knew he was going to take a hit. That time the pass was complete for the Oilers. Taken by Jamie Williams, the tight end. 19 seconds on the clock. Lasky again. See the clock at the top of your screen. Complete again to Williams. And again he takes a hit down to the 10-yard line.